Good morning, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. My name is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am coming live to you today. I am coming live to you today from the Rose Garden again. Let me see what is going to be the outcome of this live. Let me see if I can send some invitations from people. I know the powers that be, I hate it that I got on your phone. Let me see if they're still logged into this phone. Log off. Woo. People, this is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I have just got back this account, right? And this will be my first live on this account. And I know the haters of justice will not want me to go live. Right? The haters of justice would not like it that I got a new phone, because what happened when I went to the phone company to get this phone, Ralph Gonsalves' minions in California were in the back. They told me that they could only give me one phone within my account, one type of phone. And when you go in the back, you got a phone that was rigged up, that they were able to control. That is why I was unable to add anyone to my life who wanted to come live with me. That's why I wasn't able to tag people freely, right? Because they will stay at their office and they were able to control. They were able to control what happened on my life. Even that is how dangerous Ralph Gonsalves is. And that is how Caucasians are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that Ralph Gonsalves remain in power in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These in America, these in California, they want him to remain in power because it's their ambition to enjoy the spoils of Ralph's thefts when he come to California, as they have been doing for many years. Understand? People, Ralph Gonsalves had been successful in keeping the talking point in St. Vincent and the Grenadines away from the issues that really matters most to Vincentians. There are hundreds of Vincentians who have not been paid their salaries. They have not been paid their salaries for 3+ months now. And guess what? The unions who are representing these people have not been actively involved in bringing it to the attention. You may ask, why is that? They're responsible for highlighting the plights of their members and bringing to the community attention and seek sources from the community, the wider Vincentian community, help so that their members could be put back to a place where they ought to be, where they are paid regular and equal salaries. People, you have to. Last week, the staff at the mental health asylum was on strike. Right? They was participating in industrial action. Participating in industrial action. Right? Miss Butcher. Let me switch this. Yes. They were participating in industrial action. The members of the Mental Health Center were participating in industrial action. Mr. Bolcher, the president of the PSU, received a letter from the Governor General. And based on that letter, where the Governor General may have promised to intervene, and we know that the Governor General does not get involved in the affairs of the day-to-day administration of the activities of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when Mr. Boucher called off the strike, based on the fact that the Governor General letter indicated that they are going to intervene, you know what that means? That means Mr. Boucher is now allowing himself to be manipulated at the expense of the people who he is supposed to be representing. Right? And this is just the simple fact. People, as a person who are called upon to look out for the interests of workers, you cannot allow yourself to be easily manipulated by any member of government, whether they have a official capacity post where they can actually get involved, or whether their post is like a figurehead, like the Governor General is. You cannot allow yourself to be manipulated, and you cannot allow yourself to make draconian decisions without the approval of the entire membership of the union, right? You have to remember that the union is not Mr. Boucher's union. So he does not have the authority to us, or he is president, he does not have the authority to make such decision, especially where the calling off of an industrial action is concerned, without first consultation with the other union officials and with the people for whom the industrial actions were being taken place on behalf. He does not have the authority. So when Mr. Boucher took it upon himself, upon receiving a letter from the Governor General, who does not have any real power, to call off the industrial action on behalf of the people of the mental health center, he acted outside the scope of his responsibility as union leader, because as union leader, you're not an authority unto yourself. As union leader, you are called upon to represent your members, and to represent your members in such a way that your representation does not represent a betrayal, the industrial actions were being taken, does not represent a betrayal of the members who you are called upon to represent. Right? So we also know that the members of the Louis Punnett home have not been paid for several months now. There are other members of the community who are employed with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have not received a salary. Right? Yet no one is being told about these things. The community is not informed as to who are not paid from an official source. We all know that Ralph Gonsalves or any of his officials will never come and tell the community that they are unable to pay the staff. Right? And the unions are not doing either. The unions are not doing it either. So here we have a situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where people are represented by unions, and the unions are in cahoots with the government and are not bringing the public up to date as it relates to the travesties that are inflicted upon the workers of the union, the members of the union. They are not bringing the members of the community up to date as it relates to the travesties that are being inflicted upon its members. If the union are not doing it, who is going to do it? You can't depend on the government to do it. You can't depend on the reporters, the people in the media to go out there and solicit these information and bring to the public's attention. It is the union's responsibility to use the media to inform the community as to any irregularities that are going on with their members and their employers. That is the responsibilities of the union head. And if the union heads refuse to live up to their responsibility to their membership, who do you expect is going to stand up with the members? The community can't stand up with members of the union unless they get the information from an official source, because we know that there are a lot of busybody out there who will go about spreading rumors in order to get attention, and the community cannot act on the rumors that are being spread by busybodies. The community have to have sound, rational, and reliable information in order to show their support to their friends and families who are being oppressed. And it seems that a lot of these people who are being oppressed, who are not being paid, they are afraid to talk, because they are afraid that if they speak out, they will be victimized, they will lose a job. But right now, they cannot consider themselves employed, because if you are employed, it means that you are a recipient of salary for your wages. And if you are participating in employment and you're not being paid, that means you're a slave, because it is only a slave who works and are not paid. It is only a slave who is deprived of their ability to receive a day's wage for a day's work. Right? So now we have the group Rise Hairouna. And Rise Hairouna has been leading protests. Ashel Morgan, Karim Nelson has been charged. They have already been charged. Right? It is easy for them to monitor the courts and to monitor through the lawyer what is happening with these cases. It is easy, very easy. So the question we have to ask now is that upon these things being brought to the attention of the group Rise Hairouna, if they are so concerned about what is happening in St. Vincent and Grenadines, how is it Rise Hairouna has not yet changed their talking point? How is it they are still beating the same old dead mule, Ashel Morgan and Karim Nelson? Why have they not? If they are so interested in what is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, why have they not gone to the Louis Punnett home and encouraged the workers of the Louis Punnett home to come and join them on the protest line? Why haven't they done that? Right? I was speaking to one of the founders of Rise Hairouna last week, and I find it so hard to get basic information from that girl as to who started Rise Hairouna. Right? Simple information. I could not get it. And they became annoyed. Right? Because I was asking information that should be in the public domain. I called up members of Rise Hairouna, and they were unable to give me the answer to these simple questions. You understand? So it leaves me to conclude the fact that Rise Hairouna are studying everything else. They are focusing on justice. But what is the greatest injustice in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? The greatest injustice anywhere in the world is where a man or a woman are asked to perform laborious work, to perform any kind of work, whether laborious or executive or clerical work. And at the end of the day, they are not given the expected reward for their service. So the question we must ask is, why is it why Rise Hairouna have not yet changed their focus I am convinced, because of my understanding of human nature, because of my understanding of how the Caucasian works, because of my understanding of the slavery of today's society, where people who participate in homosexuality, people who had abortion, people who are raped and never reported, and now become slaves of the Caucasians, I am convinced that Rice Hairouna was organized to the prompting of Ralph Gonsalves to take away the attention from the talking points that matters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have seen some members of Rice Hairouna have been posting on social media very technical information that they find out, that they receive. They receive information from an anonymous source, right? And they posting this information on Facebook. They posting this information on the post Rice Hairouna. The last thing they post was Carlos James, campaign manager at CID, confined, right? Let me tell you something. Jeffrey Providence used to post the same thing too. Jeffrey Providence used to, every week, when Jeffrey Providence was being used by Ralph Gonsalves to control the talking point in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves used to feed Jeffrey Providence with all of these information to give the community the impression that Jeffrey Providence has the inside scoop on Ralph Gonsalves and the ULP administration, right? But Jeffrey Providence was being used by Ralph Gonsalves to control the talking point of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You all don't want to hear that because you all thought that Jeffrey Providence was genuine in his actions. This guy Travis was also used to. You understand? Travis Bailey. And now Jeffrey Providence is not giving these information. Travis Bailey is not giving these information. Who are giving these information? Who are sending out? Members of Rice Hairouna. So we see Ralph Gonsalves has changed his focus from feeding Jeffrey Providence, because Jeffrey Providence no longer satisfy the objective that he wanted him to satisfy. Travis Bailey no longer satisfy the objective that he wanted him to satisfy. Now he's using Rice Hairouna, right? Many of you will not agree with me, but I have never been wrong. I have never been wrong in my life when I come to these things and analyzing what is happening and why it is happening. I have never been wrong. Many of you who are always late always come back to say, Palmer boy, I didn't believe you. But now there are more evidence to support the things that you were saying back then. You understand? There are more evidence now to support it, and now I believe you. But guess what? By the time you believe, when I was saying Jeffrey Providence was being used by Ralph Gonsalves, nobody believed, and guess what? I don't hide to start my thing, you know. I call people names straight and bold. I don't hide. I don't hide to say what I'm saying. When I was saying that Travis Bailey was being used by Ralph Gonsalves, all of a sudden, the technical and key information that they were given is no longer coming to them, but it's going to the members of Rice Hairouna who are now posting them. People think I am always on the ball. You understand? I am always on the ball. So if you think that Rice Hairouna is looking out for the interests of Vincentians, when you see those barriers was pushed down, it is not because Ralph Gonsalves want them to push down. It is because members who came out to protest, who are not in line with the agenda that Ralph Gonsalves gave to the group, Rice Hairouna, took it on themselves to push down those bars. You understand? That frightened Ralph Gonsalves. Do you think Kenson King was bitch slapped by the police officer just for so? No. That was his punishment for allowing the protests to get out of hand, to be publicly humiliated. People, you don't understand how these Caucasians work. They don't mind you calling them rapists if they give you the permission to call them rapists. They don't mind you exposing their personal business if they give you the permission to expose their personal business, and it's going to accomplish a greater end by keeping the majority of the people oppressed and distracted from the real issues. The major issue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the fact that Ralph Gonsalves is unable and incapable of paying workers. He is incapable of doing the projects that will see St. Vincent grow economically. People, this is just the fact. This is the fact. And the quicker you start getting with the program, is the quicker we will all get to a place where we should be. Listen to this, people. First it was Jeffrey Providence. As soon as Jeffrey Providence move off the scene, Travis Bailey come up. As soon as Travis Bailey move off the scene, Rice Hairouna come up. You see, when the group or when the person and their groups does not solve Ralph Gonsalves' purpose, he switch them. And people, this is the honest truth. You understand? This is the honest truth. And we cannot depend on the opposition, because Dr. Friday loved Ralph Gonsalves like he loved his Portuguese father. And people, I'm not saying nothing wrong with Portuguese, being Portuguese. I am just showing you that when a man has an interest and when a man has a conviction, right, he look for common trend to associate it with, right? And Shitstain have found that Friday respects him and look up to him as a father, because Shitstain reminds Friday of his father. And that is why Godwin Friday will never stand up for workers' rights in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is why Godwin Friday will never stand up for nothing that has to do with Vincentian and the struggle that black Vincentians are going through. Because Godwin Friday is sympathetic to the Caucasian race, because his father has cultured him that way. He is sympathetic to Ralph Gonsalves' plight. He's not sympathetic to the suffering of Vincentians and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I've been saying this for quite a while. And you will never find Dr. Friday standing up against anything, no matter how oppressive, that Ralph Gonsalves do, unless Leacock decide he gonna stand up. And when Leacock stand up, Dr. Friday see Leacock action as a threat to his leadership of the opposition, and then he will chip in and chime in. But if Leacock don't do anything, Dr. Friday will sit back and do nothing, because he feel that Leacock is the only threat to his leadership role in the New Democratic Party. That Leacock, Major Leacock, is the only threat to his leadership role as opposition leader. So anytime Leacock make a move, look at it good, Dr. Friday is going to make a move to out-trump him. Not because he thinks it's the right thing to do, but because he feel he don't want to be led by another black man. He don't want Leacock to be leaders of the opposition, because Leacock will take the same route that Arnhem Eustace took, where he was standing up for black people. Let me tell you something. Friday is going to be a worse prime minister than Ralph Gonsalves have ever been. You understand? Trust me on this. He has no plans. He has no programs. He has no ideas. He don't know how to run the government. Right? And all he's going to do is carbon copy everything that Ralph Gonsalves did. In the same way, Ralph Gonsalves carbon copy all of the negative that James Mitchell administration did. He didn't learn the good things. He carbon copy all the negative. People, I have never been wrong. And I'm not wrong in this case. Right? Ralph Gonsalves cannot pay wages. Rice Hairouna is Ralph Gonsalves' group that is designed to take away the talking points and to control the talking point in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that, and Dr. Friday, he ain't love black people. He ain't love Vincentian. He respects and admires Ralph Gonsalves and will never go against anything Ralph Gonsalves does unless Major Leacock decides he's going to do it, because he sees Major Leacock not as a competent black man who is capable of running a government, who is capable of taking over the opposition from him and doing a better job than him. He sees Major Leacock as a threat to his leadership of the NDP and a threat to his leadership as opposition leader. So that's why he go out and do the things that he does. Right? If Major Leacock say he's going to join a protest, Dr. Friday is going to make himself front and center to be a part of the protest and to take over leadership of the protest. Not because he wants to do it, but because he thinks that Major Leacock is gunning for the leader of the opposition role and is gunning for the leader of the new Democratic Party. So here we see Dr. Friday is doing the right thing, not for the right reason. When you do the right thing for the wrong reason, it is wrong. People, if you don't agree with me, let me know. This is my understanding. This is my reading of the bush, of the tea leaves. And this is what I only talk the truth, more people. As I always said, we may not share the same political views. We may not share the same religious perspective. We may not share the same social groups. We may not share the same principle in governing and taking care of our children. But one thing all of you knows about me, whether my rant is a racist rant, or whether my rant is anti-homosexual, or whether my rant is anti-abortion, you all know that when I speak my peace, I speak my truth, I speak only that which I believe. I am not going to change my belief or my expression to accommodate anyone. You understand? The principles of my belief, I will not change it. I may change the way I say things to get somebody to understand it better. Right? But that is just Alan. This is my belief. People, my name is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo, and asking you to share this video. Share this video. Share it on your page, share it on a friend page, share it in a group, share it in a room, and tag someone when you share it. Right? Let us thank the Most High. Oh, I must say this. I get a new phone. So if you want to come live with me anytime, you can come live with me now. The phone I had, Ralph Gonsalves, people in California, had rig it up, take it to the phone company. When I go for my phone, right, they tell me this is the only phone they have. When they go to the back, they bring up the rig one. That is why I couldn't take anybody live. So I had to go and get a new phone, get a new service. So now I can have people coming live with me because they will not be able to control what I do from remotely. You understand? I thank the Most High for his knowledge, his understanding, and his wisdom. I thank the Most High for giving me the knowledge, the opportunity to share this knowledge, this understanding, and this wisdom with the people whom I love dearly, the people of the diaspora, and particularly the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and all Vincentian within the diaspora. I am gone.